Alright, if you have not seen my previous videos, I suggest you go back, watch them again, keep them in sync, and then you'll get to what we're going to be talking about now. Otherwise, what I'm going to be talking about now is going to flip you. You're not going to know what I'm talking about. Trust me, you have to watch the other videos. It's not that many. I made sure to get this done nice and fast for this video. So, in my world that I created since I was a child, I was getting really smart. And I figured out how to like categorize things, how to put, people into pattern-like positions, and how to create probabilistic quantum possibilities that are always present, but disappear either upon more knowing or get relegated to more of like a could be, but knowing tells me not. Or it gets to the I've learned but can't be certain. So, as can be seen, most of this is just based off probabilities. There's no actual certainty. So, the final position to arrive at is actually an agnostic position. But it's not the agnostic position you would think. See, it's basically like childhood. In the beginning, you're agnostic. You don't know shit. But at some point, you're going to get to know shit, which means you're now becoming more Gnostic. Atheist, theist, doesn't matter. You can place those words in there if you want, but they're just fucking flowers. They don't matter. Agnostic to Gnostic. From don't know, get to know. Realize that what we get to know is a small piece of reality, and having to come to accept that piece. That we can't know everything, and actually the more we learn, the more we realize we don't know. So from agnostic to Gnostic to agnostic to agnostic Gnostic. You know? As far as I can tell, anyone who tries to deviate from this position will meet up with a very big problem. They're going to talk about things that A, they couldn't possibly know. B, is obvious they made up. And C, can do a lot of fucking damage when used wrong. Seriously, you just can. I mean, you're going to tell people, look, either there is or there's not a God. Let's go to this. Forget the agnostic. Either there is or there's not a God. The study of God is science. The music of God is playing instruments or singing. The movements of God are martial arts or learning to dance or any other thing that involves the body. Do you get the picture? You can call it reality, you can call it God. I don't care. I'm coming from an agnostic position. I'm just trying to get to know. So, realizing this at a very young age, I was like, fuck it, there can't be another woman like me. But at 15, I picked up Carlos Castaneda's books. I found out there was another one like me. He was playing a game. I like to call it Chess 2.0. We'll call it Go for now. And man, is it the game of games, where everybody's doing their own thing, Like, I can learn a lot of what he put out, Carlos Castaneda, but he died before I could meet him. So there was no reciprocal relationship. There was just a pour, intake. With Shinzen, I got another opportunity. Shinzen was the second one that appeared in my life that was like that. I looked everywhere. Even while I was playing Go with him. But the point of it is that I sent him an email. Everybody knows my original letter, the one I sent out. If you look hard enough, you'll find it. And all it says is, I talked to many people. And I realized I was carrying an empty cup. And then I realized that I had to come to peace with myself. And after that, I started doing shit. Because it was fucking fun as fuck. And I was learning from it. That's all I put in that fucking letter. Many different people saw many different things. And that's all I put on it. And I sent it out to everybody. Everybody else got a different reaction, except for the fucking old man. And here's why the old man had a different reaction. Obviously, he'd arrived at my position already. Then he was looking for someone else like him. Nice. Now, he doesn't actually have to keep track of it. He just has to be himself. But he has to know the fact that I exist, just as I noted the fact that he exists. That alone is going to be enough to take what he calls sense, which is what I call brain, and what he calls a localized point, which is what I call mind. If you look up the Skeleton Key to Awakening on Deep Mindfulness, you'll hear him talking about this. So, these two things, sense, mind, or brain, mind, these two things kind of work like a magnifying glass. And whatever I put in the background gets magnified in the forefront. So I put it in my head. There is a man that exists that has reached my position. He puts in his head, there's a man that exists that has reached my position, or a woman, or whatever. Because I've met women who have reached it. That's pretty fucking cool. But right now, the game was played with me and him, and I try not to let anybody else get too into the game, because they can get real like, let's do it now. And I'm like, we're playing the game, but we're waiting for evidence on certain fronts to occur. And certain things have to occur just so that, we can be like, nailed ya. But the way I send out smoke signals is I just post on my wall. The way he sends out post signals is he either makes a video or he posts shit on his Facebook page. So I have a Facebook page, he has a Facebook page, he has a YouTube. I did not have a YouTube because there's a couple of tricks to doing this whole thing that take a bit of time to come into fruition. And unfortunately, my techniques haven't really matured until about just recently. But we were playing the game. I learned a lot. I'm hoping he learned a lot. Can't ever tell, Maybe he already knew this shit already. But, I go into my daily life. I meet up with shit. I code it on the fucking page. This is what I found. I'm like a scout. And then he scouts. He does his life. He's just got this thing in his head. And every time he posts or he does this, it's not like we're thinking about each other when we're doing this. We're not thinking about each other. It's like writing in a journal. But we're also aware of the possibility that there could be someone walking around reading journals. So you gotta love YouTube. Like, as you look through your history, things will start to make sense. But this is the position I'm in. It's the chess versus chess position. And the only reason is to exchange information at a very rapid pace. So he comes up with, and because he went from the Buddhism position to the scientist position, he gets to put out YouTube videos and this and that. He's been doing that for a long time. Me, I decided to come on another week when I saw him doing it. I was like, because one of his videos said, you pull shit out of the ether. Poets, musicians can pull shit out of the ether and kind of sound like us. And I was thinking, I've met up with this Islamo before. I've been using it on my Facebook page, and it's like, it's weird. But now that you mentioned it, I know what the ether is now. You know how they're doing it. That's pretty fucking cool. I made my report. Right, this is how they're doing it. So, that's the game I play. It's not real unless I make it real. I could actually, if I become successful, meet with the man. And then just tell him, I've been playing the position. That's opposite your position. But sees the same thing. And knows the first principle. Now, as long as we never meet in real life, until the second time around, maybe I sent an email, he replied. His reply was yes and yes. Weird reply for my fucking. I came bearing a cup, letter, but it was cool. He was like, yes and yes. All right. Well, I think we might have had a few communications. I couldn't be sure at first. I think when he said yes and yes, I was like, is it because I'm a dropout from high school? Is that what it is? But no, he answered appropriately to that one. And then I don't have a very sophisticated language, it's obvious. His is much more sophisticated. He knows a lot more science. He knows a lot more languages. Has many different angles to come from. Whereas my thing is more of a flip people into this thing. That's where I specialize in. I didn't really specialize in talking. I specialize in putting people here. So that's why anybody else who looks into my past, they're like, you never talked about this shit up until you were 28 years old. So anybody who's met me after 28 and up probably heard some shit about it. But 28 and below, never talked about it. Why is that? He was just this cool, kick-ass guy we hung around with. Kind of just seemed to, like, be happy being alive. I'm like, that's all it takes, really. You know, I know the other ones like to be priests and preachers. But you just need people who get to this position and really relax, happy, enjoy life. And that joy spreads, man. It helps people. And it doesn't even put a name on anything. It's like, they'll never even know I was there. You know? For the most part. Obviously, a few of them start to wonder. And at this point, if any of them are looking at the shit I post, well, don't worry. Most likely, by the time I was finished, you'd already know. After that, it's just coming to accept it. And that's its own journey. I don't try to intrude on poetry. That's why I'd always, yes, you're welcome to come in, but I'm going to have to kick you right back out. Because you're already there. I've given you everything you need, you know. The rest is just on your own. And when you finally get to this position, you'll be able to come over when I say get out the house. You'll be like, bitch, I said I want to have a conversation. I'll be like, oh shit now. Well, according to Carlos Castaneda, everybody gets hit in a different way. And, you know, some are 5 steps, some are 10 steps, some are 1,000 steps. But eventually each of them, if they make it long enough, might get here. But hey, look at all the other religions. It can take them 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Most of them don't get there either. So it's not like my shit is worse. With the exception that I don't have followers. I have friends. Yo! I got you motherfuckers, didn't I? I said what I said. What I said. You don't need family. You don't need anything. All you need is friends. So, Mitch hasn't been playing this position. Although, don't ever get it twisted either. Eventually, you have to form a family. But you don't go travel. You don't this. Once you form a family, you know, it doesn't mean you stop having friends. It's just that now your friends are people who have families. Because now you can send your kids over to their house. And things are a little cooler that way. You know? Ain't that cool? Man, that shit rocks. Here's a beautiful part. You met me before 28. Don't worry. That shit's yours. You already went through this shit. You know why it isn't. I'm just, you know, it's like a pressure cooker. Everybody's in a pressure cooker. Meeting me is like finding someone who opens up a small, tiny window and lets some of that pressure out. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Then some of that pressure out. You know, the rest is up to you. But Shenzhen loves to play this game. I love to play this game, you know. We're at that level where we exist, we don't exist. We exist, we don't exist. Schopenhauer. Or not Schopenhauer, Schrodinger. That motherfucker and his fucking cat. I swear. When I read his book, I was like, that's a cool ability. We exist in the world of probability. It looks like Heisenberg's principle. Location and space? No. Location too. What is Heisenberg? You can't figure out where a particle is in time and space. No, it's its location and its speed. Yes. Location and speed. So, when location meets speed, that should be funny if it's possible. You never know, man. Maybe there really are like quantum worlds and shit. And it's like we're two super fucking magnets, like the yin and yang, and we repel each other. But who knows, man? I guess it's simple. Maybe I can meet the guy. This is why it's important, man. You gotta, depending on which ground you pick, some are very porous, some are very concrete. Now, me, I prefer concrete. You know, if I'm gonna make a stance, I need the ground to be hard. I don't need it to be slippery. I don't need it to be whatever. You know, there's wet spots on the ground. I need to pay attention to that shit. I'm an animal. I'm meant to survive this shit. I'm supposed to be thinking like leagues ahead of the other animals. Just by using their behavior, their movements, their smells. Obviously, we've separated ourselves quite a bit from the core. And that's just modern technology. You know, what happens. We're not farmers for the most part anymore. We're not hunter-gatherers, so our skins aren't as resilient. Our immune systems are not as resilient. You know, but there's an upside. Now we have modern medicine. We have modern science. We can get in planes. You know? There's downsides and upsides. Downsides and upsides. And you gotta work. Figure out how to do that. You know? That's life. So, anybody else who tries to play this game with any kind of deviancy, damn, I pity the fool. But, yeah, you're just gonna get into confusion, and lost. Play the game the right way. Oh, shit, we're pinpointing a position until we reach center mass. And here shit gets real. It gets beautiful. You know? It gets serious, but it gets sweet. It's just, it is what it is. You know? But again, watch the other fucking videos first, or this one's gonna flip you. Yeah. Now have a good one. Peace.